Dude, that is not a good showing on the road. Wow. What's up, everyone? It's Alex here, and let's talk about the last 3 games the Chicago Blackhawks have played all on the road, and not good. I'm going to be straight up, not good. I mean, objectively speaking, 0-2-1 in 3 games is not good. But 2 multi-goal losses and an overtime loss, it's just, I'm not feeling that great going into the rest of this road trip. But let's talk about it, all right? I got my Kane jersey on today because we're going to talk about Jonathan Toews a little bit. The Hawks began this past week of action on Thursday against the Winnipeg Jets in Winnipeg. This is the first time ever that Jonathan Toews plays against the Chicago Blackhawks. And yeah, I hurt to see him in another jersey, but I had a feeling it wasn't going to happen if he was going to return to hockey after everything he went through. It probably was not going to be with Chicago since they weren't going to re-sign him at the end of the 22-23 season. And while Jonathan Toews didn't burn the Blackhawks in this game, the Jets certainly did, because, wow, that was a bad performance. I mean, defense was bad, and not just defense was bad. Spencer Knight had a bad game. That's the first bad game I've seen him play this season. I mean, seriously, it felt like they scored 6 goals in this game, and it felt like 4 or 5 of them were softies. That was not a good performance from the Hawks goaltender. I mean, they're surprising him on power plays with just a simple pass right in front. How do you let Vladislav Nemestikov just sit right in front of the net less than 2 minutes in when they're on a power play? That's a terrible start, first off. Gabe Vilardi with a wide open net. Spencer Knight slow on a 2-on-1. He lets in a softie for Mark Scheifele. I mean, that was a real bad one to let up. And it just didn't get better. He let in another real bad softie as a shot from the post. It went off the post, and then he almost backed it into the net. And then to top it off, Kyle Connor scored late in that one as well. Just really bad performance from Spencer Knight. The frustrating part is that while it was 5-1 before the Hawks finally started to find the back of the net late in that game, the only goal up to that point the Hawks had scored was on a free giveaway off the board. And the fact that the Hawks are down 5-1 is bad enough, but the fact that their only goal up until the middle portion of the third quarter was off a freak bounce off the glass right in front of the net for Teuvo Teravainen to just pot, because Hellebuck, understandably, is playing behind the net because that's what should happen. But because the puck takes a wacky bounce, the Hawks get a gift, and that was all they could score until the back half of the third period. Alex Vlasic scored for the Hawks, middle stages, third period. It's 5-2, but the one good thing, if there's a one good thing from this game, Andre Burakovsky, he might be a pretty good signing. He's been a little quiet the last week or two, but he had a really good week. We'll talk more about him as the video progresses, but I want to really highlight him here. This is the highlight, not of this week, but probably this season. Because, man, how in the world does he get this shot off? It's a good pass down in front of the net, and Burakovsky is able to work it in between his legs and roof it by Connor Hellebuck to make it 5-3. I mean, that was a thing of beauty. If you have not seen it, you should find it, because it is a thing of beauty. Oh my gosh. It's a shame that is kind of wasted late in the third period when the team's down 3 goals, but it's really cool nonetheless. It's one of those things that makes you just kind of almost get that stank face. Like, ugh, that was filthy. Disrespectful, even though the team is down by 3 goals by the time he shoots that puck. So let's just call it a wash. Let's just forget that game even happened, because, man, that one was bad. Even though they scored 2 goals late and Burakovsky's goal was wicked, just not their day. That was a bad performance. So you go from the former President's Trophy winners and against the guy who captained your team to 3 Stanley Cups, a team legend, and now you got to go play on the road at Edmonton, who has been to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals, and oh, by the way, still has a lot of those guys on the team. Oh, wonderful. And of course, just as everyone would have expected, this is the closest game of the week for the Hawks. Of course. Anyways, they surrendered the first goal. Awesome. But, it happens. You're not going to score the first goal in every single game. The thing is, this game just meandered through. And as we approach the halfway point, the Hawks are on power play, down 1-0. And it's just great vision from Connor Bedard to find Tyler Bertuzzi backdoor, and he gets a couple cracks at it, gets it by Stuart Skinner into the net, and the Hawks tie it with half the game to go. So, you know what? If you surrender the first goal, doesn't matter how long it takes, you got to get the next one. You really want to get the next one, and they did. So, hey, crisis averted. It's fine. They didn't get the first... Actually, no, they did get the responding goal against the Jets, but they let that game get away from them. You just can't let this one get away from you. And they surrender a power play goal. Awesome. That Edmonton power play is just really good. It really is. It's a easy backdoor tip in, and the Oilers would go up 2-1 at the end of the second period, and you just hope that they don't fall apart in the third. In fact, they don't fold. Matter of fact, they tie it up. Riley Green has it behind the Oiler net. He finds Artie Levshinov with a nice shot. Stuart Skinner makes a good save. Andre Burakovsky's right there. Perfect. Right place, right time. Puts it right by Skinner to tie it up. And Andre Burakovsky continuing to make some good first impressions for me here in Chicago. That's his fourth of the season. I like what I see in the game side too. And look, that's the second time that they end up tying it after going down a goal. So I'll give them some credit for being able to fight back against an Edmonton team that is really good. And that's probably about the most praise I'm going to give them in this video because, they went 0-2-1. But they did hang around with a team that's been to back-to-back Cup finals. I know that they just played 3 playoff teams before this week, but to see them go against the team that made it to the Cup final is nice. The 3 teams they played last week were all first-round exits. They played the President's Trophy winner and the Western Conference champion. So a little bit more of a benchmark, but you can tell that this team is still a big step away from being in that class. But hey, at least they got it to overtime. And then in overtime, it's Evan Bouchard to end it after Knight makes a nice save, and well, no one's there defensively, and Evan Bouchard gets a free rebound as Spencer Knight's down on his front side. He can't make a stop. It's over. They forced overtime against the Oilers a couple times in the last handful of years, and I feel like they've lost it every single time because Edmonton just has the right couple of guys they can just send out there in overtime, and they end it. It's McDavid, Draisaitl, and Bouchard. They can just send out there for 3 minutes in overtime, and they'll find a way to generate 3 or 4 scoring chances, and more often than not, one of them's going in. So the next time that they play, if they want to win, don't force overtime. Simple as that, because I don't think this team is going to beat the Oilers in overtime. And that's mainly because I think star power really shines in overtime, and I think the Oilers have the best star power in the league. I mean, literally, they have 2 of the top 5 players in the league, arguably 2 of the top 3 players in the league, in McDavid and Draisaitl, playing on the same line in overtime more often than not. And then you get Evan Bouchard, who is one of the better defenders in the league, especially when it comes to scoring, too. He might be one of the best scoring defenders in the league as well. So that's a lethal overtime lineup. You just got to not take it to overtime against them. You got to finish them in regulation. So after the overtime loss to Edmonton, they got to travel south, actually, back into the U.S. to go play Seattle. And that's their first non-playoff team in like 5 games since they beat the Anaheim Ducks in overtime. So let's see what this team can do on the road against a non-playoff team after 2 losses against playoff teams. Well, it wasn't that good. Arvid Soderblom got the start. There's a reason why he's the team's backup. He can make a couple nice saves every now and then, but he's generally not as reliable as you want in a starter. But, I mean, seriously, it's a shot from the blue line. Early in the second period, they got the scoring started from Jamie Alexiak. And then it was about halfway through the second period when the Kraken went on the power play. Then it's just a great pass behind the back from Jordan Eberle to Matty Beniers and just puts it right by Soderblom. He's in a great spot. Guys in the NHL are going to put it by the goaltender more often than not in that situation. And so they go into the third down 2-0 on the road in Seattle. And, well, that's not good at all because the offense can't beat the goaltender for Seattle, which was their starter, Joey Decord. Hawks snatched 30 shots in the game. Only one beat Decord, and it was middle stages of the third period. And it was a really nice play. Bedard's working the far boards. He's just hounded over there. He's able to just find a way somehow to get that stick on the puck in a good enough way to pass it over to Andre Burakovsky, who's got plenty of real estate in the slot. Bang, right by Decord, and it's 2-1. And that was kind of nice. Andre Burakovsky, again, coming through in a big moment for the Hawks to pull the team within one goal. And now it's like, okay, maybe they've got some momentum going and then just can't get some good opportunities. They have some zone time. Can't do it. The puck's loose in the neutral zone. Nazar slipping around a little bit. And, yeah, Jordan Eberle takes it away. There's only one defender back. And instead of passing it, he shoots it by Soderblom. Under 4 minutes to go, it's over. Yeah, I mean, there weren't too many high-danger chances for Chicago late in that third period. And by the time that Seattle ended up scoring, they weren't really generating too much offense. And, of course, it was a turnover in the neutral zone that led to the rush, which Eberle scored on. So it's not great, and you're starting to feel a little nervous a little bit. But then again, this has been a really nice start to the Hawks season, all things considered. This is a bit of a comeback to reality type of week. And remember, hey, there still has to be progress made. The team's improving, but, we still know that this team is not a contender in the league. And that's okay. They've been in the bottom, 3 in the league the last 3 years. If they are contending for a wild card spot in March and they end up falling out late in the season, you know what? Fine. All I need to see is development from the young guys and progress. And I want to see if Jeff Blashill can be a head coach in the National Hockey League, as the Hawks have been kind of bouncing around coaches since they fired Coach Q. And look, despite all this, I do have to say there are a couple of nice things to take away. Connor Bedard, he still looks pretty good. Well, he didn't score this week. He had 4 assists, a couple of them really nice. Had that beautiful pass to Tyler Bertuzzi, that all-seeing eye, able to find him back door against Edmonton. Somehow was able to get a nice pass to Burakovsky against Seattle to set up a goal there. He passed to Burakovsky late in Winnipeg, which set up that beautiful between-the-legs goal. So, I mean, despite Bedard not finding it himself, he has been helping a lot, helping other guys find the net. And speaking of finding the net, Andre Burakovsky was really the only guy I was incredibly impressed with in that category because, man, what a week for Andre Burakovsky. After a bit of a cool down after a nice first week, gotta say, I really like this signing and this pickup for the Chicago Blackhawks. He's only 30 years old. He's not super old like Nick Foligno, true veteran type of guy, but he's also not a young buck like Nazar or Bedard. So I feel like he's at that point where he's been around the league for a while, but he still has some good years left in him. And I think that this is a big pickup. I think he could be one of the best players on this team this season. I mean, look at that goal against Winnipeg. That was unbelievable. I think that he's a great addition. Huge goal against the Oilers in the third period to tie it up. And then another big goal to cut the lead in half against Seattle when they hadn't beaten their goaltender all game long. So I really like what I'm seeing from Andre Burakovsky, as well as Connor Bedard. But yeah, I want to see some more from some of these other guys on this team. Frank Nazar didn't register a point this week. Spencer Knight had a rough week. He played in 2 games, and they were both losses. That Winnipeg game was really bad, specifically. Not a great game against Edmonton either, but you know what? He can have a bad week. I'm not panicking about him yet, but that's a bad week for Spencer Knight. We'll see how he rebounds in his next start, but Soderblom wasn't playing exceptionally well either. I mean, what was that first goal? It's from the point. It's unassisted from the point. I don't know. Goaltending's got to clean it up a little bit. Defense was letting some things get by, and I wasn't really too pleased with them either. So there's some things to work on here, but you know it's fine. It's a bad week, sure. You keep moving on. It's still early season. And looking ahead for the Hawks, they continue to play on the road for 3 more games. And looking ahead, this road trip's only halfway done. Isn't that awesome? They got 3 more road games. 2 of them being in the Pacific Northwest still, against the Canucks on Wednesday and the Flames on Friday, before finishing up this road trip in Detroit, weirdly enough, against the Red Wings. But hey, we'll get through this. It's going to be fine, because guess what? The Hawks, after this road trip, get to play 8 of their next 9 games at home with 2 4-game homestands. You know what? Fine. I'll take a 6-game road trip if it means the Hawks get to play a lot of games at the United Center. So we'll see what happens. I mean, this is a bad week, but hey, got ebbs and flows. It's an 82-game season. It's not like the NFL where 1 or 2 bad games can really tank your season. This team can have a couple bad games and be able to rebound. So I'm not panicking. You shouldn't be panicking. It's November, early November at that. Shouldn't be panicking yet. We're still trying to figure out what type of team this is, and I'm hoping this is a team that can compete as the season progresses and is not just going to be dwelling in the basement all year long like they have been the last couple of years. Anyways, that's the end of the video. Please give it a like if you enjoyed it. Hit the subscribe button if you really liked it. And keep the conversation going in the comments section below. Let me know what you think about this last week of Hawks hockey, and are there some concerns on this team's skill level? Anyways, let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.